Mr. Ike Moriz, and amongst other things, he's going to be telling us about a new show that he's got coming. It happens at the Rockwell Theatre on Saturday, the 12th of November, and it's entitled Love Swings. So from his album Love Swings, here's Ike channeling the wonder that is Frank Sinatra.
He's back in town.
A song that's been done by a number of male vocalists and given a very, very marvelous rendition there by Ike Moriz. It's from his album Love Swings, one of the many songs that you can hear from his show, also called Love Swings. That's at the Rockwell Theatre, taking place on Saturday, the 12th of November. Tickets cost 125 Rand, and the doors open at 7 with the show starting at 8. The Rockwell Theatre is at the All Suite Hotel in Prestwich Street, and you can find out more at rockwellhotel.co.za, and you can get tickets from Quicket.co.za. That's a mixture of the word quicket and ticket, so quicket.co.za. More importantly, though, it's a great pleasure to welcome to the show a man that I last interviewed on here, I think maybe even as long as 5 or 6 years ago in person, although we have spoken on telephonic interviews since then. But Ike, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Nice to be back.
It is great to have you here, especially with this massive pile of CDs. I was wrong, not 15, but 17 releases since 2002.
Yeah, it's just, like I can't afford a bedside table, so, trying to get to the level,
And I know you do have a record label, but they're all, to all intents and purposes, they're independently released. That's a fairly impressive achievement.
Yeah, they're all independent, yes, from start to finish.
We'll talk more about the music, and starting off with Love Swings before we track through maybe even a tune from every single 17 of these. But what keeps you going to just keep on producing those? It's hard enough to get one album out, let alone sometimes 4 in a year, as you have done.
Yeah, there's lots of different reasons. I mean, I write music almost all the time, so there's always new stuff going on, and it just sort of keeps me sane, I guess. And it's always I like a challenge as well, doing things I haven't done before, working with new people, and it's the most fun. The process is just incredibly fun. So I'm already busy with the next one, actually.
I can imagine that. Jeepers. All right, so let's talk about Love Swings before we get into the other music. You mentioned collaborations, and I know from the various projects and even different kinds of genres that you played in that there have been a range on those. The live band that you've got for the 12th of November, that's great. Amanda Tiffin on grand piano, Mark de Kock on sax, Kevin Gibson on drums, Dave Ledbetter on guitar, Sean Sandby on double bass. That's a nice band.
Yeah, it's fantastic, actually. Yeah, we finally get to play together again, which is great. Most of them have also played on the album, except I think the bass was Wesley Ruston. But other than that, the sax was Willy van Zyl. We've been playing together for the last 10, 11 years, I guess. It's the same band that's going to play live as well, and it's just nice to play with people where you don't have to turn around and give any sort of direction. They just know what they're doing. They've been doing it for a long time. It's a lot of fun to play with them.
So I guess this is almost an idiotic question to a male vocalist who's capable of going there, as you more than definitely are, but why a Sinatra-style album?
It's not the whole album Sinatra, I would say, but it's it's a swing Latin, I suppose. I mean, Sinatra is just one of the people interpreting these songs, and he's the one that most people know of, obviously. So that's why he gets mentioned all the time. I could also say it's Nat King Cole album, or it's whoever sings. I mean, there's hundreds of people that sing these songs, but this particular album is actually more original than covers or interpretations of Sinatra songs, if you want to call them that. I don't know. I just it started I think 9 years ago, with someone saying you should be doing this, and when I was profusely refusing to do anything like that ever, because I thought it was totally uncool because I was a rock singer, but then I sort of just tried it out for fun, and it's just haven't stopped since.
There is something about those tunes. You mentioned that it's got a number of original compositions on that. One of those is the song Love Swings. We'll take a listen to that in a moment. What's the story behind the song?
It is a love song, Love Swings. It's a song written for my wife, which is it was something that really obviously changed my life a lot, getting married and all that, and also quite late in life. It was just basically talking about that, and there's some incredible feeling that you have when you're like on cloud number 9, and all the stuff that you attract and that happens, and so it's like, yeah, love swings, everything just falls into place, and there come the children, and then everything changes again.
It sure does. Here's Love Swings.
In this moment, oh yeah, love swing. That's life. Yeah, that's what people say. Oh, I'd roll myself out in a big bowl and die. And my favorite Petite Madeleine.
So that a song by Ike, showing that not only can he sing the crooning kind of tunes, which in this case are Sinatra ones, although in my head I think Dean Martin does them better. But anyway, the Love Swing show is subtitled "Sing Along to Sinatra, Bublé, and Ike Moriz's own hits." A reminder that Love Swings is at the Rockwool Theatre. Tickets are 125 Rand. It's on one night only, Saturday the 12th of November. The doors open at 7 and the show starts at 8. And the Rockwool Theatre is at the All Suite Hotel in Prestwich Street, Greenpoint. Playing along with a very fine outfit of Amanda Tiffin, Kevin Gibson, Dave Ledbetter, Mark DeCock, and Sean Sanby. So Ike, there are a number of other albums which we'll get into in a minute. But when you're putting some of your own tunes alongside songs that have been interpreted by the greats, is there any nervousness around doing that? Petite Madeleine seemed to fit perfectly after That's Life, and on an album that's also got Mack the Knife, and I've got The Whole World on a String. But do you feel a bit nervous putting them there together?
Well, it's great that there's another person thinking that. No, that's awesome. Thanks. Not really. I never really taken myself that seriously, to be honest. To be very honest, when I studied music, I was doing rock music, and I was always kind of making fun of the jazz stuff. So I still kind of have that sort of attitude a little bit. So I'm not taking it too serious. But I think it works. I don't think there's any issues. I mean, I've had people from America saying like, all these standards are, really cool, and not knowing that like it was another album where there was actually kind of 80% my own songs, and
Right.
they didn't even know. So it seems to work, I think.
So you perform, your entire income comes from being a musician, which is a mixture of CDs that you record and then sell, and then gigs that you play.
Mm-hmm.
Do you manage to sustain yourself doing that just in South Africa?
Yeah, I mean, in the last couple of years, I've been doing tours overseas as well, especially because of the long and cold and quiet winters in Cape Town. So I've just come back actually from a 9-week tour in Germany, and which was sold out and fantastic, and it really helped to survive those very cold months. So yeah, it's a mixture of having to travel a lot and selling CDs and doing all sorts of things with music. Yeah.
So it's amazing to hear that there's yet another artist, and there seems to be quite a rich exchange of, especially jazz musicians into Europe, but then you play a variety and sing a variety of styles. But great to hear that there's a South African musician managing to go on tour for a good couple of weeks, a month or two in Germany. How hard is it to set up something like that?
It took quite a long time to get all the connections, and I would be lying if it was just easy, but it has grown. I started 3 years ago with just a couple of gigs for like 1 or 2 weeks, and the resonance was like, it was fantastic, and so I decided to come back the next year, and it was twice as good, and this year it was pretty much 4 times as good. So yeah, the number of gigs increased, the people following the music increase, and it's been I've been very lucky, and I'm very, very aware of that, because I know, I mean, being a musician anywhere in the world is very hard, and being a musician in Cape Town is not very easy, I think.
And what's the main differences between audiences in Germany and audiences here in terms of their expectations of music or anything else?
Sure, that's. I think it really depends on where it is, in Germany or here. It's both audiences can be quite diverse. I don't want to be negative about either of them. I think in Cape Town people are a little bit spoiled, and if the weather's nice and the mountain's calling, then everybody's forgotten about those tickets, and there's a lot of very, very good musicians here that often play for very little or for nothing, and so I think people take that a lot for granted here. In Europe, I think, especially in Germany, the middle class is extremely strong, and so there's a lot of spending money. There's very few poor people, very few rich people. Everybody's sort of got cash, and there's a lot of support for music. People go out a lot. It's a little bit like Joburg, I guess, where there's people go out a lot. But the Cape Town audiences are also a lot of fun. I don't know. It's like
it's nice that you can have both. We'll take a listen to another tune now from Ike's Love Swings album, and then head into some of the many other CDs that he's got. So here he is interpreting yet another of those classics.
I've got the world on a string. I'm sitting on a rainbow. I said, what a world, what a life. I'm in love. I think it's today. Oh, my baby don't. Oh, she just don't care. The sun's a different color. Flocks of birds bolting away.
It's a brand new Ike Moriz tune. It's a single at this point. It's called Heroes in Red. We'll chat about it in a moment. It's an anthem written to honor firefighters, and we'll, like I said, chat about it in a moment. Before that, Ticket to Ride, Ike Moriz channeling the Beatles. That's from his most recent full-length album, Debonair. And you heard on vocals and backing vocals, Ike Moriz, saxophone and clarinet duty done by the amazing Willie van Zyl, and with the keys and bass and arrangements by from Scotland, Mack Pike. The album again is entitled Debonair. It's 12 minutes to 11. You're tuned to Fine Music Radio 101.3 FM. My name's Evan Milton, and the name of the show is Home Ground Advantage, bringing you 2 hours of the finest South African music, and the bulk of the show this evening taken up by a chat with Ike Moriz and playing some of the music from his 17 albums that he's been releasing over the past 15 or so years. So Ike, that song Heroes in Red, an anthem that you were compelled to write, tell us about it, please.
Yes, it was last year, 2015, in March, when we had these most incredible fires, and it came very close. They came very close to our house, and I think it was the Sunday when the helicopter pilot died or passed away, trying to, fight the fire there. I felt like I needed to do something, and somehow this song came out, and I just asked some friends to come into the studio literally on the Monday, and we all just put it together. And I think on Tuesday or Wednesday it was on iTunes, and then I basically gave it to the volunteer wildfire services to use as they please, and it's sort of become their anthem, and all the sales go directly to them. But more importantly, I wanted to give them something that they can do something with, and that can make them feel, or can make people feel enthusiastic about what they do, and just draw attention to what they do. And it's been fun.
And you launched it at a Botanical Gardens gig. which you
Yes.
do from time to time. But I mean, it must be quite amazing performing that and having them there.
Yes, that was fantastic. That was a very cool feeling. Some of them even came in their uniforms, and I realized they were wearing yellow. So heroes in red, wearing yellow. But no, it was fantastic. I mean, I think they really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it. It was very special, and for me, it was something I had never seen before. I mean, I lived in Sea Point at some point, and we had some fires there on Lion's Head, which I thought was scary. But this one was I had never seen anything like it. I mean,
so it actually came up near your property, did it?
yes, yeah. We live in Hout Bay, and pretty much the whole mountain burnt down. And it's I mean, we were actually at some point close to evacuating, and when it gets to your kids, the kids wake up at night, and it's because it's so smoky. That's getting personal, and and it was quite scary. And as a musician, I'm not going to go out there. I mean, that was for me the thing to do,
I think it's amazing. So, listeners, if you are on iTunes, Google Ike Moriz, and Heroes in Red is the name of the tune, dedicated to and an anthem written for the Volunteer Wildfire Services. And for the simple price of clicking on it and downloading it and paying out of your iTunes account, you can get some money into the hands of those heroic firefighters. So I'm going to play another tune now from Ike's Love Swings album, a reminder that you can hear him performing on Saturday the 12th of November at the Rockall Theatre.
I wanna wake up in the Provence. No matter where we are, no matter where we are, no matter where we are, it feels like France. Siren Terpsichore was her name. I wanna see you in the night. I wanna see you in the night.
Two more songs by Ike Moriz, those taken from an album called Siren Terpsichore. And you heard first the actual song Siren Terpsichore, and then a song called See You in the Night. And for those of you who frequent listeners to the station, you will perhaps recognize Muriel Marco there playing on piano and vibes. Also featuring Willie van Zyl on saxophone and clarinet, Wesley Hlava on classical guitar, Charles Lazar on double bass, and the inimitable Frank Pecco on drums, with Ike Moriz doing the vocals and the keyboards and the bass, as well as acoustic and 12-string guitar. And that is out on Mosquito Records. You can find out more at mosquitorecords.co.za or at ikemoriz.com. That's IKEMORIZ. And here with me still in studio as we head into the second hour of the show, it's just gone 11 o'clock, Ike Moriz to tell us more about heading away now from some of the jazz songs into the first genre I heard you playing, which was pretty serious and energetic rock.
Yeah, those were the days. It was very, very dramatic. I was still living in London and releasing my first single. I think it was called Fall Into the Sun. Very dramatic, flying too close to the sun and obviously, dying and all that. But that first single went very well. And I think you were at the station, and you were one of the first people actually playing it in 2002, I think it was. Can it be? I don't know. Maybe it was a bit later.
It was then, I think. 2002 or 3, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, something like that, ages ago. That was always my main inspiration was always British, very edgy rock pop music. And when I was living in London for 6 years, way back then, I was playing with a rock band and touring in Holland and England, and releasing those albums. I mean, the first one was Mirrors and Shade, and Fall Into the Sun was on that album. And then we did a second album, what's it called, Play Me. And then I moved to South Africa, I think, to do the third one here. It's still also rock music. And then all the jazz stuff happened.
Well, in the spirit of a proper retrospective, let's take a listen to some of the rock tunes.
All right, yeah. This next song is from an album from 2011. Because in between, I like to do still, kind of every now and again a bit of a rock one. And Iggy Pop is also one of my sort of heroes at the time. I still really like his honesty and sort of the rawness of his music. And there was this one song called Whatever, with his American accent. And having lived in London where everybody says whatever, I thought, you have to do this with a British accent and let's see what happens. And this is the one, Whatever.
Trying to get to the bar. The name of the bar is called Heaven. Oh, Heaven, Heaven is a place, a place where nothing
Ike Moriz doing two very different rock songs there. Both of those come off an album entitled Breathing Dreams, which was released in 2011. Him channeling the marvel that is Iggy Pop, and then a tune by the Talking Heads. The first song called Whatever, the second song called Heaven. And as mentioned, both of those are out on Mosquito Records from the album Breathing Dreams. So, Ike, when you're doing those kind of, I guess, better known in the pop and rock kind of world songs, it's a very different kind of style that you have to get right, and especially if you're performing them, a very different person, I guess, that you have to be compared to when you're doing jazz tunes or kind of crooner tunes. How do you manage both?
Sure. I think when I started out with the rock music, it was, as you said, it was a very different kind of performance. It was very intense and dramatic and almost theatrical, while the typical jazz performance is, not at all that. It's like it's very kind of embracing the audience and very friendly and warm, and the rock stuff can be, almost can be quite angry sometimes as well, and introverted, all that sort of stuff. But I think over the years, having just come back from touring in Germany, where I've basically thrown all that stuff together, and it actually works. I think I've come to a point now where I just do it the way I feel. I've just kind of become that person, or the music is become part of me, and I don't feel like it's actually that different. I mean, it's all about the message of what you're talking about and what you want to get across. And I think there's a balance in there. There's a middle way, and I think that's where I'm at the moment. And so they're not that far apart from away from each other.
So that just makes me wonder about your musicians that you use here, and then also when you're touring in places like Germany. I've certainly been in a whole lot of gigs or pre-gigs where I'm lucky enough to hang out with some of Cape Town's best and most frequently working jazz musicians, and they'll pick up charts from someone who's coming in from somewhere else, and they'll be able to play those tunes, especially if they're well-known jazz standards, or if they're within a jazz idiom, they'll be able to play those like almost on the spot, or maybe with a one day's rehearsal. If you throw a rock tune at them, an Iggy Pop tune or a Talking Heads tune, what happens?
I don't know. I must try that. In South Africa, I've always had different outfits for the rock and the jazz stuff. Now I think with the next concert at the Rockwell, I think it's probably one of the first times I'm actually going to throw it together, where I'm going to throw stuff at them, which is more, it's not the usual. So I'm going to have to see how that works.
Well, we hope that the listeners are enjoying the multi-genre show. I certainly am. I don't find it strange to play the different genres together. What are you going to play for us next?
I think maybe from a blues album.
Let's go into the blues.
Yeah, I mean, in 2014, I think it was, I brought out a blues album called At Last. And I always wanted to. I wrote songs for about France and Italy and Spain and traveling and all that sort of stuff. But I had never done anything for Cape Town. So here's a song called "To Cape Town."
You want to see the mother city way down. Lose your frown, get down to Cape Town. The devil. Oh, if you read those stories from the liars, the devil is real in your mind. You're my sweet woman, oh yeah, smooth and nice. Those marble hearties, they don't love me. Oh, yeah.
So that's from Ike Moriz's blues album entitled At Last, or not his only blues album, but that album is a blues album, one of the 17. And we heard a succession of songs which feature Ike on vocals and backing vocals, as well as doing pianos and keys, with some acoustic guitar and lead guitar by Willem Moller, the amazing, and I just learned something, also a copy editor for magazines. The man who, when Rodriguez was going to perform in South Africa and they needed to make sure that at least someone on stage knew the songs, Willem Moller was the man they called up. And also, for those of you who know that kind of genre or slice of South African music, Willem Moller played along with Koos Kombeis, with Johannes Kerkorrel, and with James Phillips, and along with Jonathan Handley, etc. So a really amazing guitar player and an important part of the South African music scene. On saxophone and clarinet, you heard Greg Skuman, and the keys that you heard playing there, Mr. Simon Orange, perhaps better known for his stints with the Blues Brothers, the Blues Brews, sorry. So Ike Moriz there from an album called At Last, and the songs that we took a listen to were first To Cape Town, then a song called The Devil Is Real in Your Mind, then a tune called Smooth and Nice, and then that last one, Think I'm a Millionaire. So we listened to some jazz, Ike. We listened to some rock things that you did, channeling the blues. It's a very varied bag. And while we were listening to the music, you were commenting about increasingly your shows, you find that you're able to play whichever of these songs it is that feels right at the time, and audiences are kind of ready for that mixed bag.
It seems like it, yeah. I think because most of them are very melodic, and because I write most of my stuff as well. It's authentic, and I think I hope at least that people can see that and hear that. So I haven't really experienced where people go like, "Well, this is weird," or like, I don't like that, or whatever, or that doesn't fit together. And obviously, I mix them together in a way that it works. I could really shock the audience by mixing it a bit harsher, but it does seem to work. And I love the blues. It's like it's a common language that everybody understands, and especially after a couple of beers, I guess.
And then on that album as well, there's Tanya Muller on backing vocals, Paul Tazard on drums. And I believe that in addition to the Rockwell show that we've been talking about, which is on Saturday the 12th of November at the Rockwell Theatre in Prestwood Street, you're also doing a slightly less formal gig, just a kind of a fun blues thing in Spiro's on Hart Bay on Saturday.
Yeah, I think after coming back from touring overseas, I was just so filled with enthusiasm and playing all these concerts, and often improvising a lot and doing kind of spur of the moment stuff. While here, I'm doing a lot of functions and a lot of very, very, very formal concerts, theatre concerts, and so on. I thought it would be fun to do something along those lines, improvise. So, it was actually Barry Van Zyl, Johnny Clegg's drummer, who had the idea to do something regular at a venue and build it from there. So we got together and then chatted with another guitarist I worked with on another project a long time ago, Guy Collins. He plays with Hot Water, and he plays a lot with Josh Hawkes from Freshly Ground, and he recommended him. So now we have a little band, 4 of us, and let's see what happens. Yeah, we're going to do that on Saturday at Spiro's Greek restaurant in Hart Bay, in Main Road.
I love these musical gems that you can find if you just have your ear to the ground. It's 11:30. You're tuned to Fine Music Radio. My name's Evan Milton. In studio with me is Ike Moriz. You're listening to Home Ground Advantage, playing purely South African music across a range of genres. Some jazz, bit of rock, bit of blues, and now some more music by Ike Moriz. What have we got next?
The next song is from my third album, which was kind of a pop rock album called All Around the World. And this is the first song on that album, called All Your Heroes Are Dead.
Oceans of time passing through space, beings and things, all your heroes are dead.
Ike Moriz, they're doing one of the poppy tunes that he's capable of doing, Angie Blue. Before that, you heard a tune called Still, and before that, All Your Heroes Are Dead. So we don't really have time to talk about the pop things that you've done, Ike, but Still has quite an interesting tale about it. If I remember correctly, it was one of the first songs of yours that I played on the station ages back. But
yes,
the late, great David Bowie was a fan of that song.
Yes, he was. The first album, he had this website where he encouraged people, artists, to upload songs, independent artists, or people that weren't that well known, and he would then once a month choose his favorite song. And yeah, that for me was an amazing thing. I mean, that song was chosen Song of the Month, I think 3 months in a row. And yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, he was my hero, and he was I think he's probably the reason why I started music, and yeah, that was fantastic. And then a couple of other songs from the same album were then also chosen, and yeah, it was absolutely awesome. It was a big encouragement for me to keep going,
So thank you for sharing all of these songs. We have 15 minutes left of the show, so a reminder to the listeners that we've been speaking to and listening to Ike Moriz and some of the music from his 17 albums for the last hour and a half or so. You can hear him playing live at the Rockwell Theatre on Saturday the 12th of November. Tickets can be purchased at Quicket, and you can find out more on Ike's site, which is ikemoriz.com. And if you would like to check out more about the Rockwall, it's at rockwallhotel.co.za. Great band that Ike is playing with, including Amanda Tiffin and Kevin Gibson and David Ledbetter, as well as Mark DeCock on sax and Sean Sandby on the double bass. And that'll be a Sinatra, Bublé, and crooner kind of gig. A number of these albums are available in South Africa, and you can get them from Ike's website. He did tell me a tale that in Germany, some people come up to him after gigs and say, I'd like to buy every single album you've got. It'd be great if South African audiences could start doing that as well. But we'll end off the show with a couple of jazzier tunes. So what have we got, Ike?
This next one is the title track of the album called Nobody Does It Better from 2014, I think it was. And this is a duet with one of my favorite singers here, Monique Hallenberg. Here we go.
Bars before your eyes. Oh, we love you and we always will. The dew is hanging diamonds on the clover. Listening to the nightingale. The world is at our feet, the picture is complete, like a Louisiana fairy tale. Night and stars above that shine so bright within our desert caravan. I wish you bluebirds in the spring. When snowflakes fall, I wish you love. I wish you love.
This is FMR.